Hello, friends. DJs on the beat once again. So the last video I dropped about stock plugin using it for broadcast templates. So this is using your third party plugins. So here I'll be talking more of the premium ones, the waves, the fab features, and what have you not. So going to the before we start the proper tutorial, so I need to show us some things. So while I was just to tell you this, so when you go to into your Windows, go to system of the usage, you can see how much just being static, how much be the amount of CPU being used on these broadcast templates is around 50%. Let's just say 50%. So let's play, then let's look at where it's heading to.
That was the King of Glory, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh Sabaoth, the Lord of hosts, the Lord of hosts. Oh, na 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 na. Yahweh.
So it's not really pulling down the CPU also. So let's just give it and take 60%. But let's see what the stock plugin is saying. So for the stock plugins, this is what we have. When I check the system usage, I have this, which is kind of in the same border, but this one is more. I think the stock plugin is more stable than that of the third party. The third party sometimes goes. I did an extensive test. Sometimes it goes overboard to like around 70, 75. But the highest the stock plugins has gone is around 52. So which is kind of the difference between the stock plugins and the the third party plugins. So going back, there's another trick I didn't mention in the earlier videos. So I showed how you can activate the automations, but what I didn't show you guys is how to really do it very fast. What I showed is you can just bring this one and bring them in and do the what you have to do. But you can see they are still on the left here. So the moment you for Windows, I'm specifically about Windows now because that's what I use. Control Windows Alt, and you click on this button here. It automatically engages everything. You can see they move everything. So the downside to this is that you can't pick the ones you want. It automatically selects everything. Sometimes you might need that, sometimes you might not need that. So just Control Windows Alt, then you press on it. You can activate and deactivate very quickly. You can see it. So that's a shortcut to that. So you can, if you want to use it, that's the control there. So let's dive in properly. So the first, I'm using the for all parts of this for the input stages, I'm using the studio verse. That's the audio effects of the studio verse. We had Razors, the other part, the studio verse, that's the instrument. So I'm using the audio effect. So what I like about this the studio effects, the audio effect for the studio verse, is that it has all the complete chains. You can invert, you can give again, do you can add your plugins directly, you can do a lot of things on it. You can assign knobs so they can do different functions as macros. So that's one of the things I really love about the studio verse audio effect. So practically I'm loading it on every channel. So that's what I'm doing. So going to the vocals, I have a preset for this also. I did a preset while working on this. So the first I'm going with is my just my low cuts and a little bit of high cuts on my lead vox. So that's it. The second I'm going into my compressor. That's using the Bluey. Most times I'm always turning off the analog. Um, analog is just adding noise, so I don't think it's really so for the release, that's the very fast release and a slow to medium attack. That's what I'm using for the. So I love using my compressor in series. So everybody is doing little little. So it compounds to more. So, but when you are doing little by little, it's hard. It's hardly you hear the compression because it's everybody is doing little chunks. So it goes into my R rocks. I really like R rocks when it comes to what it does to vocals. And then I go into sixes. So now I'm compressing frequencies and bands. So other ones are doing broadband. They are doing generally. They are bringing it down. That they are after peaks and whatnot. But this is after frequencies. That's what I love about C6. So I use this. The last of my chain is the wave tune. So something I love to note about wave tune is this. So if I'm on a um using this as broadcast, I tend to like have the let me see. I can't say it's a bad thing or a good thing. So I love having like two screens apart from my main PC. So one screen is just for me to see what I'm doing with everything. The other screen is for the plugins like this. Because I know for any tuning plugin, for constantly you need to change their keys. So majorly, I have it on another screen. The moment I change the key on the lead vox, all I need to do is just to send to all. Every the moment this when you click on this one, this transmission where you have my cursor is the moment I click on send to all, every that's why I'm using the same chain for everybody. So the moment click on send to all, everybody receives that key and they move on. So another thing I note to check out is this. Um, I'm using the correction at 80%. If I were to be using let's say auto tune by Antaras, I won't touch the mix now because when you do, you can check it so you can check and use it and know what I'm talking about. Maybe it doesn't does that for you, but it does that for me. When I try to bring the mix down to like maybe 80%, there's this funny sound it gives, one glitchy sound. So I tend to not touch the mix knob. So what I do for Antaras is I pull up the flex tune, I pull it up to like around 30 to 50. And the return speed, my return speed is always around, let's say 20%, 20, or which is the 20 is the default, or I put it around 18 to 15. So that's majorly what I do with my auto tune. So and mostly I use the generic. I don't really use here on the wave tune. I don't use parts. I just use generic. So it really captures all across all keys for everybody. So that's for auto tune. That's for auto tune. So the next one I'll be talking about are the vocals. Let's talk about one. So for the vocals of one, the same thing. For the background, everything goes the same way. So which is what I did before, just low cuts, high cuts, the compression and the tuning for vocals. The next one are the keys. This one is practically nothing but for the second keys there's something on it. I have a CLA. It's just to tame the it's taming the vocals. It's taming the keys, the picks of the keys, so it doesn't go overboard. That's what it does. For the kick, just loading it up. So for here, I'm just using the trim. Yeah, the stock plugins. The second one I'm using here is the silencer. The silencer here. Um, how do I put this? The silencer um is from Black Salt Audio. So what it does is, in a way, try to reduce noise. So it's kind of eliminates noises before it sends to the next plugin. So this is what it does. So it's really it speaks the peak of the drums. So when I go into the let's try to show let me try to show what it's doing. So let me pull this one up too, so you can see what I'm really talking about. uh, okay, let's use this way. So when I play, so when it's disabled, you can see how much noise we are inquiring here now. So sometimes it might not make sometimes it might make the trigger, might give it a force trigger, give it because there's much of noise. But moment the um it is turned on, you can see how much cleaner the waves look like, the peaks look like. You can easily see the peaks, and okay, this is what I'm trying to work with. Then you go about it and you do your thing. So that's also the kick. When you combine the kicks, so this is what I'm doing on the SSL channel. Basically I'm just I'm taking it up. So what I'm doing with the kick using the SSL channel, this is a kick I picked up from which works. I picked it from Mark, a South African mix engineer. It does this on virtually anything drums, and when I look at it, it's very good. You can also use it. So on the kick, this is what it does. So it puts the what is it called, the threshold is all the way up. So while the threshold is up, it now tries to increase the ratio until it's having, let's say, like 6 decibel gain reduction. So you can see my peak is lighting up at that 6 decibel. So, and for my gate, so I'm trying to mimic the release. So what I do is that I just put my range at 20, the threshold. I try to find a sweet spot for the threshold. And for my release, I'm trying to check when I'm mixing. I check for the release of the each of the kick or all the transients for the snare. I'm using the same progression on snare also on most of my drum channel. So the release of the drums will be the same thing as what I have here. So when the kick drops, it tells me, so it keeps, it doesn't cut, because when you just um put the gates to be at 100, everything is at 100, making it, the moment you the kick, after the kick releases, the when the kick hits, it just cuts. And you can, if someone is very attentive, you can hear that cut. So, and that's what we don't want. So it's better we just try gradually, like you are having a fader. When it hits, you're trying to mimic a fader. It's pulling it down gradually, releases it, put the fader down gradually. So that's what we are trying to mimic. So moving to the next, I'm using the BX 160. So this helps me get that tighter feel of the drums. It's kind of glue it together. So this is what it's doing. So this is just doing around, let's say, 4 decibel, and I'm adding back like 2, so which is, to me, my hearing, it's very much perfect. The next one, I'm doing the same trick on trigger. The same thing I did in the previous video with Buzz, I'm still doing it here to get my snare bottom. Since I don't have a snare bottom, the snare bottom was not recorded for this. So silencer too is, I'm using silencer for this one also. To This is specifically to trigger, and so I just need that the top end, so that it be clear and there's no noise in when I'm triggering. So for the SSL channel, I'm using this almost the same. I'm going through the same. We have it here. So the next one I'm using, the last one I'm using on that channel is a limiter. So the limiter is just trying to, I don't want it to go above 0. So that's just what I'm doing. That's what I have on my snare. On my, this one I just triggered the drum, I did the drum replacement on. So on my toms, so I have rack toms, I have that also. I have, okay, practically nothing on it because they are triggered. Floor tom, almost the same thing. So for my overheads, I'm just trying to clean up some of the things there. Practically I have something in this nature to clean it up for my because the minute you're adding more flow into the mix, you get your mix card getting bulky. So the next one I have is the BX. So the same thing, I'm just compressing so everything doesn't pass a particular threshold. The next one is the bass. For the first bass, usually you just have the first one is the CLA3A, just to catch peaks. I'm just catching the peaks with that So just catching peaks. So the second one is just using a preset from waves, that's wave supreme. So you can see they are putting up the mid, no mid here. That's at one what's the frequency, 151, almost close to 200. Most times if I want to, I could maybe push this to 200. So make that place shine. And also at this um 1.5 or 1.6k. So the next I'm going through is my C6. So here I'm trying to tame the low end. I don't want it to go overboard. So here too I'm trying to do a up compression for that same region, the 160 to 200 region. So it can give me, I need that grit in that lower mid and mid region section. So the next one I have is the vitamin. So I still need that low end area. You can see the low is 123, the mid is 150. So I'm still in that range of that 200. The other one is taking off. So that's what you're hearing. So the next one I have is the for distorted. So for the distorted now, uh, I have the CMA3 also doing his magic. Then I have this with me. I'm just running it through the simulation of it running through a DI box. Though the previous one came to a DI box, but this one is DI box like an amp DI box. So after it goes through that, the next one, yes, the next thing it went through was Fab Peter Saturn. So I'm still on that mid region section. So I need to drive a tube like driven mid range. This is what I have here on that section. So when they meet at the base play, I'm also doing a compression on it, going through EQ, going through vitamin. So basically that's what they are doing. So that's for the base. So for the lead vox, the boss now, this is what I have on it. So I have my EQ, I have my LA2A on it, I have C6 doing its thing, then I have a DSR here. So the send, that's the long verb, the short verb, the delay, and the vocal parallel compression. So almost the same thing on the background vocals. The only thing I'm adding now is the imager on it. So for the keys, I have this on it. For the F6 is not really doing anything, but for the LA2 is compressing, making sure when they mix, they are in compressed states. And for the S1, just to stereo widen what I have on the key, so they are not really at the center, they spread out into the spectrum. The bass post, I really have nothing on this. I've really done most of the things I have. So but here where I have the kick, so here where I have the kick, I did a side chain to it. So the moment the kick hits, it's docking that area where the kick is, which is around 56 to 60. So I'm doing this. So when the kick hits, it is docking. So that's what that one is just doing, making everything come together. The next one I have is the drums. Drums here. I'm just having that compressor. This one is SSL and compressor. This one is just gluing the whole thing together. So yeah. So this is a glue compressor, then you have a limiter on it. Everything has to be on a particular level. So then I move to the side chain. So the side chain is just, this one is for vocals. So while the second one is for the snare top. That's for snare top. So the next one you have is the long verb. You're using F6 to cut off the lows and high. This same thing as an Abbey Roads. Then I have my Valhalla. There's my settings here. That's for the long verb. For the short verb, I'm still using Valhalla, but a plate verb, a very short one. For the delay, I'm using the F6 to do the same aberrors than H delay. But the trick for this H delay is when you go up here, the moment you are working, maybe you are working with Pro Tools, just click on this tempo. Make sure your MIDI controls is ticked on. So you move to this place. When you double click on this place, the moment you tap on the T key, you are tapping just on the T key, you can see the tempo will be changing. So you can change the tempo of the song. So any time-based effect is going to pick up that time. So when you are done, just press enter. The moment you press enter, let's check our delay again. It will change the time, you can see. So you can do that while you are working on your project. It's going to take effect. So the next one I have on it is my sidechain compressor. So this one is sidechain to my vocals. So the moment vocals is turned on, the moment vocals is still singing, it compresses. It gives what I'm not. This compressor is not compressing. It's just bringing down the volume of the delay. Then when the vocals is off, then the delay can come up, so you can hear the delay. But while speaking, I don't want you to be too much on the main vocals. So the next one we have the H delay. I'm just using this one as a reverb for that delay also, just putting it on it. The next one we have the snare verb. Just using money. I'm using this Pro key just to take it off also. The next one I have that's the drums. That's what I have there. Just rolling it off also. I don't want it clouding the whole place. For the parallel compression, I'm using this. So slow release, fast attack. So compress the whole thing. Um for my stream, the one going out, I have this. So on it I have the F6. So this one is this is the side I'm taking out most of it, this side to like around um 60. So no low end on the side. For the Pro Q3, I'm doing the same thing around 55, 60. My main mix is stereo. So this is what I have, the settings I have on my for my EQ. So I'm doing both for the side and mid side EQ on this together. So the next one, I go into my um stream bus, into my C4. The C4 is just compressing, trying to making sure everything is glued is terms of frequency. Every frequency is not overshadowing each other. That's what it's doing. So the vitamin here, now I'm taking off the low end. I'm taking it off. Now I'm basically concerned about the top end. So this is what I'm doing for. I'm making them more stereo. That's for the top end. So now I now have a glue compressor. So far very slow attack. That's the highest it can go. That's the slowest attack and the lowest release time, just to tame them together. So then the final one for bringing the whole vocals up. So this is I'm using my output ceiling at 0.1. The next one I have is at minus my threshold, just to pull up volume. That's what's basically doing. The next one I particularly have on my stream channel is this. You can see what you have here. I'm having at minus 14 already. So minus 14 is the LUFS for YouTube. You can have it more than that if you want to, but majorly I'm always around when I'm doing a broadcast using DAW. I'm always around minus 14, minus 13. I try to like over around those numbers when I'm mixing. So that's how I work. So this one is always on. So like I told you before that I love having two screens. So this one is on, will be on one screen, and that of the lead vox wave tune. So both are always on its screen, so I can really easily get to them and see what is going on. So that's how I do. So till next time that we meet on a different topic. So there are some things I have not discussed here, which is the VCAs. So the next video I will drop in how I use VCAs and what they really do. So till next time, peace out.